Go through all the highs and lows of the desert city of Las Vegas as we invade for Effy's Big Gay Brunch and all the WrestleMania festivities, including going to see the Grateful Dead and, of course, the RuPaul's Drag Race girls, making our life very special. Check out the Patreon, weekendateffys.com. Please like and comment and subscribe and share and tell somebody about the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at weekendateffys or on Instagram at weekendateffys to hear more clips. I think we're on TikTok too. Is it weekendateffys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, follow that too. And buckle up. It's a week of adventure. Mania Week's here and over. God bless our souls.
We're in.
Viva Las Vegas, Peter. Welcome back. I've made it through the desert. 40 days, 40 nights, drained of my life force, beat down by capitalism and an economy of false hopes, destroyed by a humidity rating of 0% as my lips turned into crusty old olives. How do you feel?
I'm here.
Well, imagine how I feel. I'm here, but less so because I was drained by the Las Vegas sun and this fantastic adventure. How do we even... God, there's so much to talk about. This is too much. We've got too much to talk about. We've got too much on our plate. This is Weekend at Effy's. If you're not at weekendateffys.com supporting the Patreon, you're hearing this later than everyone else. That's the facts. You're hearing it later than everyone else. And Peter, we got to start filling this thing with ads. All right? Whatever ads we can get. If you're not on the Patreon, you're going to get, hundreds or thousands. Here's an ad. You want to hear an ad? You want to hear an ad? This is for an ad for orange juice. Oh, wow. You've been thinking about drinking orange juice? You better have some. Here it is. Comes from oranges. Squeezed, put in a bottle. It's going to expire if you don't drink it. Orange juice, you better have some of that. Do you want me to do ads like that every week? You want me to have to just do ads like that all the time? It's disgusting. It's sickening. You know what I did last Wednesday, Peter? Went to Las Vegas. You know what's there? Sin, the devil, darkness, rock and roll, glitter, blood, lost dreams, desolation, isolation, addiction, angels gone wrong, turn to demons, angels turn to devils. Anything else you remember from Las Vegas? Showgirls.
Drag queens.
Oh, drag queens. Yeah, we said the same thing. Showgirls, drag queens. Same thing. My neck still hurts so bad. Here's a quote. You want to hear a real quote? Hey, did you readjust Dark Chic mid-air so that your head would land on a worse part of the chair? You want to know the answer? Yes. Yes, I did. I just read on Yahoo Sports that Kid Bandit versus Zack Sabre Jr. from Effy's Big Gay Brunch made their list of the top 6 non-WrestleMania matches of the weekend.
Ooh.
So congrats to those two. We'll talk about that more in detail soon. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds here, Peter, because it's been a moment.
Well, if you do want to get lost in the weeds, you should listen to every episode of this podcast because you would actually hear that match come together in your head.
Over time?
Over time.
Yeah, it must feel a little bit like rewarding if you've been hearing this happen kind of as time goes on. And listen, both of them are two people I'm very fascinated with, and I love Bandit, but having Zack Sabre Jr. on a Big Gay Brunch was something that was a bit of an unrealized dream from my wrestling histories past. And we'll get into the full story of that, but I don't want to hold back too long because the people who do subscribe to our Patreon are loving Patreon fans. We love you so much. Those of you that are able to give are respected and so highly honored by us. And those of you that are not able to give or be a part of the Patreon, that's okay, but you won't go to heaven. Can we say that?
Yeah.
And
we don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah, we're not even sure if it's real or not. So if you're not signed up for the Patreon at weekendateffys.com, we can't
go to heaven.
I'm not saying you will or won't if you do sign up, but I'm saying we know you will not go to heaven if you're not signed up. So get on that. It's not how it works. Yeah, Jesus said you have to believe in me and sign up for the Patreon. weekendateffys.com. One of the benefits you get from signing up for the Patreon, as you've probably heard here before, you get your questions answered. I'm answering your questions here. You know how many people hit me up for podcast interviews, Peter? Let me just be perfectly clear. If you're not paying me on the Patreon, you don't get to ask questions. And the only podcast I'm appearing on right now, especially now that Big Gay Brunch is over. Because you know what I have to promote at the moment? Fucking nothing except for come find me. Come fucking find me. I'm going to be live and in person at a lot of shows. Do you want me to do the dates real quick of what we have coming up?
Hit 'em.
Rosemont, Illinois, Thursday night. Joliet, Illinois, Friday night. Saturday, we're going to be in Columbus. No, Saturday, we're going to be in Cleveland. Yep, Saturday, we're going to be in Cleveland. And Sunday, we're going to be in Columbus for the Juggalo Championship Wrestling TV taping tournament with Ouija Mac and Violent J on tour. That's the main event of it. The week after that, though, I'm going to be here in Atlanta for DWA. We just went up to the venue today, TH Chill. What did you think about TH Chill?
Oh, fantastic.
They're hosting shows right now. We were there
I had a dream
early.
about that place.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When?
Like years ago.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Had you been there?
In my dreams.
Oh, but you recognized it when you got inside that it was a place that was realized? Well, I'm glad I brought you up there with me. Very cool venue. It's going to be on the 2nd of May. I'm doing a seminar that day, too, for DWA. Check it out. It's on the Atlanta Beltline. And then the 3rd of May, I will be in Los Angeles. The 4th of May, I will be in Portland, Oregon.
I'll be there. How about that?
How about that? In your dreams?
No, on May
2nd? Let's do it. All right, cool. Let's do it. Let's get it up. I wasn't trying to. Here's the deal. Here's what I'm dealing with. This venue and the lovely, my good friend Gabriel, known as Chainmail in the world of wrestling, has offered up this venue as a place for us to do a live podcast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I am, and I don't want to say it's because I'm not confident in myself or us. I am highly confident in us. But also, I'm gone a lot and I'm busy, and I want to make sure if we did a live event that was promoted correctly and that was, enjoyed by the right people, because we haven't done one since Starcast, and that was sort of was a built-in wrestling crowd. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we have to sort of see who are the people who would want to come out in Atlanta? Who wants to come see things? Do we need to have a musical act or two on there? Do we have other friends in town who want to collaborate with us? We're gonna figure it all out. We're working on it. I'm not scared. I like to have a plan. So those are some dates coming up. We will have many more dates after that. Some you may have noticed already. But for now, I want to go to the Patreon questions. weekendateffys.com to sign up, and you can ask questions that Peter will thumb through and then tell me, and I will answer them. Otherwise, if you're a podcast person, I'm not answering your questions. Sign up for my Patreon.
Okay, this first question is from Anthony. What are your favorite matches from the collective? I think we'll get into that one as the podcast continues.
But I think we can put some dots on a few that I know.
I do think we can do that, but I do think we have a second, maybe more important question.
Okay.
What are your go-to dipping sauces? I like a good honey mustard.
Yeah, a honey mustard can be nice. I just had a blue cheese on a buffalo boneless wing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need the blue cheese. I think a ranch
Lucy
is fine.
was real into that.
Lucy was on top of me trying to eat blue cheese buffalo bites. Truly. I love any kind of spicy dip. I think a spicy dip is good. I love a ranch. I think a ranch is fine.
Mm-hmm.
A honey
blue cheese
mustard
or ranch?
Blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
I'm choosing blue cheese. I also, I just like mold.
When I was
like
a
eating
kid
mold.
And I had ranch dressing, I thought there was a specific part of the United States that made all the ranch dressing.
The ranch.
And then when I found out about Hidden Valley, I thought that's where they make all the ranch, is Hidden Valley.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
There's a Hidden Valley where we make our ranch. Turns out, you know what's better than ranch? Here's the supremacy. The ranch dip powder.
What?
You can just buy the powdered ranch?
Yeah.
That's the best thing in the world.
You just dip.
No. I'm saying, here, you don't know what you do? You cut those chicken breasts into even pieces, and you soak them in the ranch
So you can
batter.
just make Cool Ranch Dorito whatever.
Cool Ranch Dorito everything. Because the ranch powder is a concentrated flavor formula that can be turned into ranch. Or you ever have green bean casserole?
Yeah.
Mix it with ranch and cream of mushroom, then bake it with the onions. That's what I'm talking about. That's flavor. That's a flavor profile of the real American zest of what we have. What is white culture giving us? Maybe not even ranch. I don't even know who invented ranch. I'm not even giving us that credit. I don't think that was us. I'm tasting the flavor. I'm thinking about the flavors. I don't think we could have put that together. No chance. That was definitely like a Latin culture that made up ranch.
Yeah.
Or a black culture that made up ranch. Or like there were native spices maybe.
Okay, here's the problem is that in my head, because sometimes when we record the episodes, I try to go ahead and pull what the episode title will be. And so my first thought was Cool Ranch Supremacy, but that just sounds maybe a little too coded.
It sounds like white power.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe ranch is a white people thing.
It was invented by an Alaskan man.
Oh, well.
Now his name was Steve Henson.
Okay, that's pretty white sounding.
Alaska sounding pretty white too. Wait. He was black.
Oh.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. Steve Henson was an African-American cowboy and plumber turned cook, changed American food culture forever with the creation of ranch dressing in the 1950s while he was working in Alaska.
Wow.
Incredible. I said it. I said we couldn't have done that.
Wow.
All right. Well, if you want to hear more about black culture in America and how awesome it is, listen to our episode, our mini-sode, which comes out in bonus to this episode on Sinners, and celebrate Black America.
And eat ranch dressing.
Ranch dressing and peanut butter, like, what do we have left? Those are two of the top foods. I mean, and I'm sure you could go even deeper with that. Look at a beignet. A beignet is straight up not a white person food, and it's the best version of a donut ever made. We're just saying that they're better at snacks, food, flavors, desserts, main courses, meals, entrees, and beverages than us.
A beignet, I want to still know.
Beignet.
Sorry.
You ever had a mayonnaise cake?
No.
Oh, well, in World War II, when they didn't have access to oil and eggs are the main ingredients of mayonnaise, and they could stay on the shelf a long time, and so they would make mayonnaise cakes. I ate a mayonnaise cake one time. I couldn't tell there was mayonnaise in it, but I would have preferred a sour cream cake. You ever had a sour cream cake? The dog is making a noise right now like I've never heard. Miss Lucy, I know. We took away your friends and I feel horrible. What a world to live in. The dogs were kidnapped. They were dog napped today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get...
Next time I'm going to make him take Lucy too.
Yeah, he should. Well, also, here's the problem. I'm not calling anybody out on the air. I was a little more direct this time about it. Usually if he takes both dogs, like in a day, he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I just said, I don't want to hear it. I said, I know how this goes. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, tell him he can just drop Bobby off tomorrow.
Yeah, Bobby can come right back.
I'm not back to work till Friday. So.
All right, good. Yeah, Bobby needs to come back. It's sad. Any other questions this week?
Yeah. Okay, this is from Machete Von Kill.
Yeah, hell yeah.
How did you all celebrate the holidays?
I just want to say, legally speaking, I can't celebrate the holidays.
I was about to ask, wait, what holidays? Is Effy still riding the high of that fabulous match against Dark Sheik?
I got to say, there's something, I don't know, I feel like we're going to get into this in a minute, but there is something really magical about working with a friend, especially at a high-pressure event like that where we're sort of doing a venue we've never done, and we're doing a show, that's got a lot of expectation on it. By the time I got into the ring with Dark Sheik, it felt very comfortable in there and good, and it just felt like a very fun match between friends, even though it was incredibly brutal. I'm sure I'll have you watch it back at some point just so you understand the sheer brutality. But at one point, she had put a chair over my head and then went to the top rope and then put a chair under her leg and then leg dropped me from the top with the chairs crashing. And I just want to tell you, who's the magician who's going to make 9/11 disappear? David Copperfield. Not even David Copperfield could do magic that well. That's my prediction. Because he made a lot of things disappear, so maybe he can make... Do you think Nathan Fielder's the David Copperfield that's going to make 9/11 disappear?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is he, the Wizard of Sadness?
The Wizard of Loneliness.
The Wizard of Loneliness.
The Wizard of Loneliness. I love you. Say it again. Nathan Fielder, we love you here. I wrote Nathan Fielder on my hands for Corrigan Hall debut, and he never even acknowledged me. Am I that much of a fucking loser? Am I such a Z-list celebrity that not even Nathan Fielder can acknowledge? I'm going to find you, Nathan, and I'm going to ask you a lot of questions that you're not going to like until you want to be rid of me, and then contractually you can't, because we're both going to be working at HBO together on that new
for
project.
all you know, he's working on rehearsal season 4 right now, and this is a part of it.
Are we rehearsing? I'm not rehearsing. We do it fucking live. We don't rehearse. We don't plan ahead. We just see what happens. That's the thrill of it.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe just the ethos doesn't match up.
I don't know that word. I will eat those though. Rock and roll.
This is the last of the note for a machete Von Kill.
Okay.
Thank you both for both being. Excuse me. Also, thank you both for always being so awesome. In a world full of total shitbags, it's nice to know there are still still a few good ones left running around.
You know, I'm still seeing this shit. Somebody put my fucking promo on Reddit, and it was like getting a lot of votes. And the top comment was like, "Hope he's not a piece of shit." This is like where we're at. Is if I say something and it sounds good, like everyone just has to assume like, but they must be a piece of shit. Peter, I don't think I'm a piece of shit. I think I actually tried not to be a piece of shit. And I think historically, like I can point to people at every point in my life along the way at every point, and none of them would tell you I'm a piece of shit. So if in your heart you're dismissive of someone because they possibly could be a piece of shit, maybe that's how you have to live. But also, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just not. It's just like I wish I could be. Dude, if I was a piece of shit, straight up, I would have already been a Christian preacher. Like if I could not have morals, do you know how much more money I would have made on revival tours?
Yeah.
Like I got a Halloween party shut down one time because I was dressed up like a Christian preacher and I brought a bag of wine and I just kept singing praise songs. Someone called the police on me because they were mad that there were Christians there, and the police came and shut the party down. And I didn't get to hook up with that guy, which was the plan. Dressing up like a Christian preacher and getting wine drunk and hooking up with a hot guy is kind of like, I can't think of a higher American dream. So what I'm saying is like, you know, I could have pulled it off. I could have lived in that kayfabe. But instead, here I am entertaining the people, enjoying myself, putting all the LGBTQ talent on showcase. All right. They chose to wear those scandalous outfits. They were not forced to by the promoter, which is me. Okay. I would never. But they look hot. I'm allowed to say that. That doesn't make me bad. These are adult performers on our show who look very hot. Our show was so fucking hot. I watched all the different shows. There wasn't a hotter show than ours. I'm just saying, like, you had choices, options, and it was incredible. And what a fun group of people. What was I saying?
What's the difference between marijuana and vagina?
I don't know.
If marijuana smells from across the room, it's good. Thank you, Heather.
Okay, that's fantastic. There was a really good pussy eating scene in Sinners. If you haven't seen Sinners, go see Sinners and listen to our review on the podcast episode on the Patreon, which will appear in your Spotify feed like magic. Isn't that cool?
That is cool. Does it show up as the locked thing? I haven't looked at it for fear of
Yeah, I think so.
what every single other podcast looks like now.
Yeah, but that's the way it has to look now. You have to constantly be showing the hidden. I don't know. Let's see. Look at our profile. I did see a few new reviews come in, so thank you for that. No, it doesn't. No, it does not show up like that at all.
Okay, good, because that's been kind of. I mean,
and why don't we want it to show up like that? So people can see the option that's there if they would expand.
It's annoying.
I know.
It's the same thing like when you pull up the last podcast feed and it has next week's episode up.
Yeah. Don't you want it?
I do
See?
want it, but I'm not.
See? I think it should be showing.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of listeners who, even though they're listening, they don't really know how much joy that would bring to their lives to have the other episodes, which are filmed in the dark and under much more mysterious circumstances. And I say crazy stuff on there. Remember that thing I said about the elephant poop? Yeah, well, you would if you listened to the mini-sode. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Everybody's going, what are these? I just made that up. But it would be like cool if we had like, we could tell them secrets here. No, we can't because It doesn't matter. Are there any other questions?
No. We're
Oh,
done.
all right. Do you want me to take you to Las Vegas?
Yeah, let's do it.
I had both extremes. I feel like I saw the future of where events are going, and I didn't like it even a little bit, because the understanding to me, and I say this after watching all the events that we had, after watching all the events WWE had, I do think the future of live events is moving to extremely high priced tickets that are almost a who's who in your audiences showing up, that are visible, with much smaller crowds. I think Mania not giving that entirely yet, but a much smaller, more VIP feel for the crowd, with extreme heavy emphasis on not being able to attend it live and having to pay to participate in a way that is able to join the stream at the same time, and that the in-person merchandising will never even be a fraction anymore of what the online merchandising will be. That's what I summated from the whole thing, from the whole weekend. But I also summated that if you can make really cool live events for people to come see, they can become destination events that are worth the price around it. And you also have to build yourself into the understanding that the price point that you get from a customer is not going to be a larger percentage of what the total spend is, because they're having to spend elsewhere. So you have to sort of build a reality where their participation in your events also includes the participation in getting to and being at these destination spots for events, if that makes sense. So I went to Vegas on Wednesday, and I landed, and I couldn't check into my room yet, which was at the beautiful Rio.
I bet if you just paid attention to what you just said, you could go make $1 million.
Yeah, easily.
Which is just like, now we're on to the next thing.
Yeah,
I love how your brain works.
I just come in and drop like, here's the
Yeah,
entire future architecture and blueprint of what
Yeah.
American live events are going to look like.
Yeah.
But even, we'll get into it. It really was like mind altering being in Las Vegas for this, amongst a few other things, which we will discuss down the line, that I was able to be privy to. I got in Wednesday, which is early, but like it was cheaper to get a hotel Wednesday night than fly in Thursday. Isn't that crazy? And for me, I keep having to pop my neck. My body is not, we're doing our best. We're doing as good as we can do. I didn't really have anything to do Wednesday, so I said, well, this will be good to kind of like ease in, check things out. I landed, and the first thing I was told was I need to come to the venue, which I didn't. Like 90% of the time when people tell me I need to be somewhere, I've learned I really don't. But I was kind of in a good enough mood where I was like, fuck it. Like, what else am I doing? It's 9 a.m. in Las Vegas. I just landed, direct flight from Atlanta. And Pero said, get here. So I got there and we went to the venue, looked over the venue, and all I could think was, this venue is far too nice. Now, you may be familiar with the Ponce and the Pearl Theater if you've ever seen the 2007 VMAs. Have you ever seen the 2007 VMAs?
You've showed me the 2007. If I
of course I
seen it
have
already. Because
that's the theater where Big Gay Brunch 10 was held. The same theater. Well, we'll go watch it later. If you want to, it is on YouTube, the 2007 VMAs. Now, one thing about the 2007 VMAs, they also had the performances on the balconies, including by one entertainer who is now seemingly, I think he's a Nazi now or something, and we don't have to reference him and we don't have to bring him up, but he did perform Touch the Sky, I think, on one of those balconies that's overlooking the pool in the hot tub. So we went to the venue, and then of course, here's the thing about Pero. Pero has like 19 husbands or whatever. Like, Pero's like if a Mormon didn't have to make up a whole religion to have every sister wife suck his dick, but it's all boys dressed as puppies. Like, with all respect and positivity, he does have a full like harem of pups, and they weren't in town yet. Like, the boys were getting into town the next day, so he only had me, and I just don't think Pero knows how to interact with boys if he's not buying them something. So I did in fact let him take me out for the brunch buffet at the Palms, which includes shrimp and crab and salmon and crab legs and meats and prime rib. It's the most extensive brunch buffet you can imagine. The Rio got rid of their buffet. The Rio used to have one of the best buffets, Penn and Teller and the buffets that were good. That's what the Rio had. Now the Rio is a sad shell of itself.
They only have Teller.
Well, no, they have Penn and Teller, and they actually did a bit. Penn and Teller did a bit with Jey Uso of WrestleMania fame, so they were involved as well in the big celebration of wrestling. But I stayed in the Rio those first
Penn and
2
Teller
nights.
make 9/11 happen again.
Oh my god. Okay, it's
The opposite of David Copperfield.
fool us. You didn't fool us.
Yeah.
It's still gone. What a bit. What a fucking bit. I do want to say when I checked into the Rio, I didn't listen to the lady telling me where to go. And she said, go on the other side of the Cake Boss machine. But I didn't see that there were 2 sides on the Cake Boss machine. So I just thought, this is the Cake Boss machine. But one side of the elevators didn't go to my floor. So I was like really lost about how to get to it took me like 40 minutes to get to my room. I'm just going to admit it.
So you use the Cake Boss machine as a navigation tool. It's a landmark.
I should have used it more wisely.
Okay.
I was told to use it. I thought I was smart.
No, did you actually use it?
Oh, I certainly did. I had one of Buddy's favorite slices, which is a 3-piece of pecan pie and like chocolate cake and like a caramel cheesecake in one slice of pie. I will say though, the way they advertise those pieces of cake makes them look way bigger than they are.
I'm sure.
Buddy. But it is great to hear the Cake Boss welcome you. I will say that when I was on hallucinogens and had a meeting with God as Reggie Watts, that Cake Boss was also involved in the splintering of that episode along with Weird Al Yankovic. That sort of threw me into an acid loop. And so there is still like a tinge of unreality and simulation to the entire Cake Boss's existence. And I think like participating with him in a machine like that, where it's just like quips of his voice saying stuff over time, it does sort of make my brain turn into rotten oatmeal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the room. I got to the buffet. Me and Pero just ate so many crab legs and kind of made a game plan for the week of what needed to get done and what we needed to do. And then we went to the pool. And Jimmy Lloyd came with us to the pool as well. I wanted to make sure to get him nice and clean, get him all scrubbed up.
What's his name? A real boy, Jimmy Lloyd?
A different fucking boy.
Oh, sorry.
And like, I still don't think we're supposed to talk about this, but Bring Her Back is coming out. Philippou Twins, Raka Raka. And then I do believe the next project will be familiar to us all and possibly about a different fucking boy. I hope I still made the cut in there at some point.
He's playing the Ochi in Ochi.
Well, and you know about the Ochi, right? The Ochi that we've seen is only a baby Ochi from the Legend of the Ochi, and that the full-size Ochis are almost a demonic force because they're misunderstood.
And played by Jimmy Lloyd. We don't know they're not.
Ochi. Jimmy Lloyd was he kept buying us Diet Cokes at the pool, not Jimmy Lloyd Pero. Kept buying me and Jimmy Lloyd. And I go, Jimmy, when he comes back, you have to tell him, thank you, sir. And hearing Jimmy become a pup. Just to get free Diet Cokes. We hung out in that pool for a while and Jimmy had to leave. And then Allie finally got there. And so I picked her up and then we went back to the pool. And it was a full, fantastic vibe. And we had a great time that day. That night we did end up going out to eat. Thanks to our good friend Adam and Orange Crush. Had a beautiful meal with a few of our overseas friends or overseas correspondents. I don't know if I should out everyone that was at this dinner. It was kind of a private affair. Secrets don't make friends, right? Either way, I will say he set our reservation for 8:45, which to me sounds like a great Vegas reservation. Having 8:45 dinner, we're there till like 11:30 and now we're out on the town. No, he says the kitchen closes in 5 minutes. We were of course a little late. The kitchen closes in 5 minutes. And I said, well, just order something. And when you tell that guy to just order something, he orders you a filet mignon with all the sides. So thank you, Adam. It was delicious and perfect. We split some desserts afterwards. And then we kind of went on our way, went around the town, checked things out, went to the casinos, called it a night pretty early. We didn't get too wild. We had a pretty good time. Thursday, my good friend Zach was coming in though, and he got there very early. Now, I did goof and think that WrestleCon was earlier than it was. I thought it was an all-day affair on Thursday. I was wrong. Sorry to Pero. I sent Pero ahead of me to go to WrestleCon to scope it out. And he got there and he was like, they're saying it doesn't start till 4. So I just didn't go until 4. Sorry, Pero, I left you there. I did pick up Zach though, and we got to have brunch a little bit together, but we missed breakfast with my mom because she told me to go to this restaurant, Blueberry Hill, and I sent her the one. I said, is it this one? Because she knew where we were staying. And she said, I think it's that one. And I'm not making her feel bad, but it was not that one or another one. And it was by the time we figured all this out. There's 3 Blueberry Hill restaurants on Flamingo. On the road, there's 3 of them. And we fucked it up twice. And I was like, I can't. I have to go do stuff. I'm sorry. I don't want to blow this. And then she was like, do you want to come to dinner later? But then we ended up at WrestleCon late because it was at 4 instead of 12. And so then I missed dinner too. And I felt bad. I was not doing great. I was not making it happen. I was not, trying my best. But we ended up working out later. She kind of understood, what was going on. And after that, though, after WrestleCon, I had my first match. Now, one of my other shows canceled, and that doesn't matter. But I was now down to what I thought at the time was 3 matches, but then it got cut to 2 matches because I was on spring break and I was off spring break. And then I was back on spring break, but then I got pulled off spring break, last second, the night before. But honestly, given the circumstances, really glad it didn't have to be me doing it, if I'm going to be honest. You'd think part of you would be like, I can't believe I'm not on spring break. But and we'll never be able to tell this story in full on here of Sabu versus Joey Janela. It's just one of the most historic things. But not being on that show and being able to just be there live as things were happening was one of the most interesting independent wrestling things I've ever seen in my whole life. Really just fascinating. Either way, my first match was, of course, a scramble with Progress Wrestling. The show was starting at midnight, so we were just getting started at midnight. I did not wrestle until 2 or something, 1:30 or something that night. But my match this night was against Charles Crowley, the Spectacular Twat, against Simon Miller from What Culture YouTube Wrestling, against Adam Priest, who our good Southern buddy, and against Paul Walter Hauser. Now, this is my favorite part, which is we get there, and I'm going over things with my good friend Zach. Zach is a friend from college. We've known each other since we were 18-year-olds long ago. He goes, that dude looks like Richard Jewell. And I was like, yeah, dude, I know. And he goes, wait a second. Is he doing a bit? He's got the same name as him too. And I go, brother, it's Richard Jewell. And he goes, what? And I go, brother, it's really him. It's Emmy Award winner Paul Walter Hauser, who's also starring in many such films as the upcoming Luckiest Man in America, I think is what the film is called. Mm-hmm. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was also in a film called Queen Pins, which is what Zach was so excited to talk to him about, where he does a scene with Vince Vaughn where he threatens to and then does shit his pants in Vince Vaughn's car. And immediately we get there and he's like, we're talking about the Queen Pin scene. I do want to say he looks like a tall person, and I'm not saying he's short, right? But he looks like I've never seen a movie where he looks short to me. Am I wrong?
No, yeah.
He's like a regular size. I think I'm too big for Hollywood. I think they're going to have to make some exception for me because I think I'm just a giant human being. I think I'm just a large creature. I think I might have to play Godzilla X Kong. I think I might have to be Mothra. Just take up too much on the screen. If I'm not in 70 millimeter, I'm not going to fit on the fucking angle.
Wow, that's not how that works.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a movie, Peter. Pretty sure I've seen a movie. Now, my favorite part, though, and while I stroke my own fucking ego here, I kind of walked into this room and sort of didn't big dick, but sort of just took creative leadership on the match. And I called kind of the whole thing and filled everybody's spots in. And the more tips I gave, to the kind, gentle, talented Paul Walter Hauser, the more appreciative he became. And I think a lot of my notes are correct. And it gave me a validation in sort of, I think for a while I've questioned, you always question things when you're different than other people, right? But then you sort of see things in action and you go, no, 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 no. Me and my friends have been right for years. And this weekend was sort of a nice validation of that, be it your, Allie or your Mance or your Manders or your Justice or whoever, that we've sort of often been told, to change and do things a certain way. And now everybody's sort of coming to us wanting to do it our way because it works really well. And we all got to kind of showcase that this weekend, which I thought was fascinating. But we had this match, and Paul Walter Hauser, he secured the victory. He's a wrestling champion now. Now, was I pinned? No, I did not lose. I was out of the way for that finish because I've been sprayed with poison mist again, which is the second time in a month I've been sprayed with poison mist. Guys, stop poison misting me in public when I have to walk around places and see things and just get mystified. We were in a suplex position. Got us both. Same time. Bad stuff. It's not good to get misted. I still think I might be poisoned. I think the desert poison might even make it worse. You know what I mean? Crazy. The match was great. The show was great. I did not stick around that late that night. Ended up just kind of going back to the hotel, chilling with people, having fun. It's good to see the people, in town. We've all kind of been looking forward to this weekend and getting through it. And Friday was going to be a big day because of Joey Janela's spring break, amongst other things. Now, I hung out with my mom Friday. We went out to eat, which was lovely. She got into town earlier, and I was a little nervous, but she's done Vegas before, so she's fairly familiar with everything now. We got to hang out with them a little bit before they were going to go do some other stuff, see the town, and then we were going to go over to spring break. I can't even speak on any of it, but it is the craziest story I could ever tell you. Is the story of Joey Janela's spring break and Sabu's last match, and I'll never be able to tell it in person, and it's never going to be mine to tell, but I just need people to know, if they saw that match, they saw the biggest Easter miracle I've ever seen in my life. To know where the day began, to getting to that match, to getting to it happening, to Sabu living, it is one of the most interesting, harrowing. Now, I've shared a little bit of it with you, have I not?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that can only exist. And I think that's like, I was in a position to not be on spring break so that I was in the middle of all of this.
Someone will secretly make this into a part of a movie in the future without ever referencing, but everyone involved will know because it's too good of a story for there not to be
and there's too many
version
angles of the story.
Yeah.
There's too many people there with the story. It is, here's what I'll say. At one point, and I think Joey finally understands that, like, sometimes when we're talking, I don't think he thinks I come from a genuine place, because I really will sass about everyone else. But I said to him, and I think he got it, Joey, I've never seen you fail. And in that moment, it was looking not good, and it didn't worry me. Like, and I even said this with Brett. I said, back up against the wall is the best Joey. Joey Janela is not someone who, like, needs everything perfect, needs the night going perfectly, like, needs his own special zone. I've seen him in every position, in every situation, just like show out and do what he has to do. And it is a miraculous thing, and for that match to occur. Now, here's what's really crazy, and I'll get into the rest of the clusterfuck later. Not only did Joey have the retirement match with Sabu the night before, the next night at the clusterfuck was won by 13-year-old -1, who is the son of a wrestler who passed away, Brody Lee, who was in AEW. He's a 13-year-old, and it was his debut match against Joey Janela in the clusterfuck. Now, he was against a lot of people, obviously, in it, but I think it came down to him and Joey in the end. And Joey, wearing his Terry Funk pants, put the kid over. in the end of the show, and the 13-year-old won. So you took out this legend, and it's the end of his career, and you're bringing in this new guy who's 13. He's been training with Natty Neidhart down in the dungeon. I will mention that too. Before spring break, or before Progress Thursday, was Bloodsport, and I brought Zach in there, and watching, I introduced Zach to Josh Barnett, and Josh kept joking with Zach, like, people think me and Effy don't like each other because we're so weird and we're so different, but we're like the best of pals now. And to hear him say that was kind of just like I knew it, but it was like kind of hilarious to hear like crazy Josh Barnett, the youngest UFC champion of all time, who's backstage with like at one point after the show when everybody was in the hallway, half of the people on WrestleMania are in this hallway. Like every WWE superstar is back here because there's a few WWE people on the show, including Natty Neidhart, who has been a WWE legend for a long time. And I sort of yelled out, if you make more money than me, you need to get out of the hallway, because it was like MVP and Gunther and Shelton Benjamin. And I can't even tell you all the other people because there were so many people in this hallway that if I told you, it would sound like, it wouldn't even make sense. Like the people I was in the elevator with, you would laugh your ass off that I was in the elevator with these people in this building, and that I could just walk into this locker room, which clearly is like, it's not my locker room, even though it's the same venue I'm running in, and just kind of have the run of the place and nobody says anything. Or I can just go into Josh Barnett's dressing room and be like, what's up, man? I'm going to have to change in here soon. You guys need to get the fuck out. Really fantastic stuff. I got to see a lot of fun friends that night before Paul Walter Hauser. I know I jumped a little back, but it was surreal being in that hallway. Friday after spring break, I think we kind of got out of there as fast as we could because the fourth rope show was running, West Side Gun Show, and those people were not familiar with the process, and things got wild back there. I will say this, thank God they fixed the video screen by the next morning, because whatever happened with that, whatever broke with that, I did not want to have to blame anybody else for it. Now, though, I'm going to tell you about getting to Big Gay Brunch. Now, I wanted to get out of there anyway because it was like, we're doing brunch in the morning, but also they pretty much forced us out of the building even though I'm allowed to be there. And I was like, this isn't worth fighting this right now. Mance Warner was on the show. He was at the show till 4:15 in the morning.
Ooh.
So, guys, I just want to say, like, no disrespect. You got to learn how to run a show. This is embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be fully embarrassed. I think the total spend on their show, who even knows? Doesn't matter because brunch was the next morning. First thing I did was I went outside and I had a smoke with Dan Perch, referee. And there's security guards there, and I don't have my bracelets yet because it's the first show of the day. It's taking them a second to figure out what bracelets they're going to use for the day for the color. So I don't have this on, but I'm clearly in the back of the building. I've come out of the stage. And we're smoking, and the security guard goes, y'all don't have credentials. I say, yep. But my name's on the show in there, man. I'm allowed to be here. They didn't have the bracelets yet. He started to give us a little lip. I said, hey, man, we've been doing shows all weekend. I've been here all weekend. I'm going to get my bracelet. I have a bracelet from yesterday. You know, relax. Do you even know what kind of show we're having in there? He goes, well, I know it's a Noodle Fest. I went, excuse me. He went, yeah. I said there's a big Noodle Fest in there. I said, well, it is a gay show, so I imagine how you could see that. But did somebody else call it that, or is that your own name for it? And he goes, nah, man, that's what they're saying it's called. They're saying out by the pool is a ramen noodle eating contest. The Noodle Fest is here. So I'm thinking this guy's doing some kind of boomer homophobia stuff. And me and Perch are looking at each other going, ooh, as he started speaking. And then we realized, yes, in fact, there's a ramen noodle eating contest also happening today at the Palms at the pool. Noodle Fest is here. I really thought he was talking about us. We could be called Noodle Fest, though. I could see how someone from another time or generation would be like, yeah, this is a fucking Noodle Fest. Makes sense. Big Gay Brunch itself was very fast. It happened very quickly.
Effy's Big Gay Noodle Fest has a nice ring to it.
I know, but I just don't want to be dismissive of our female correspondents here, you know?
True.
I don't think you should have to have a noodle to play. Can we call it a noodle and jug fest? All right, that might be too. Is that too much? Nothing better than noodles and jugs. Right? Or neither. You can have neither noodles or jugs and still be valid there. On noodles, jugs, or none? Jugs, noodles, or none?
I kind of like neither noodles nor jugs as a name of something.
Hello, we will be taking neither noodle nor jug as we go forward into our clearance. It was a phenomenal time, though. My mom was at Big Gay Brunch. I hope a lot of you got to meet her. She was very vocal during the match. She also made a comment to Zach about how big my ass had gotten, which I take great pride in. I've always had a relatively large ass, and now it does seem to be poking on out. And I think part of that is just the walking schedule we've been on lately. Like, on top of going to the gym, on top of working out, I think just walking like a lot has made my ass fat. And like, praise God. Praise God for this moment. All the matches on the card were great. Zack Sabre Jr. being there was miraculous. And I think it, it's really cool because I don't think a lot of other people, in the world would get to share locker rooms with Zack Sabre Jr. He's typically at New Japan. He's typically overseas. And so for him to be in town doing these sort of indie appearances and coming to our show, I don't even think they had to wrestle him to sort of understand where he's coming from. And I think our audience got to see a lot of new faces at the Big Gay Brunch, and especially some Vegas faces that I think was good. I'm still so fucking tired from Las Vegas beer. It's hard. It's so hard. Now, here's the thing, though. I was so tired of being in that building, and I had been presented with a wonderful plan from my good friend Nick Carp, listener of the show Nick Carp, supporter of the show Nick Carp, supporter of me Nick Carp, supporter of my visceral beauty Nick Carp, who takes great photos Nick Carp. One of Nick Carp's best friends, has a very, very cool job, and that job is as the personal photographer to one John Mayer. You know John Mayer?
Mm-hmm.
River Squares?
Mm-hmm.
3x5?
Mm-hmm.
Body is Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that movie with Ryan from The Office? With
What?
Ashton Kutcher in it?
Oh, yeah.
Body is Wonderland. You
John Mayer was in that?
Remember he was in the opening scene where they're just being rude to women?
Right.
Your body is Wonderland. Oh, body is Wonderland. Saw John Mayer one time in concert in college. It was very cool.
He's in The Mask.
The what?
The Mask.
Is this a bit?
No, it's not a bit.
He's in the movie The Mask?
He's in the YouTube video The Mask.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, he is. Okay, well, yes, he is. Fantastic. Love that. Connor, what's his name in it? He has a different name.
Does he have a different name? Okay.
Yeah, he has a different kayfabe name.
Connor O'Malley, though.
Yeah, Connor O'Malley is him, but he has like a silly, it doesn't matter. So either way, I don't know if you know this, but there's this band called the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
And like their name says, they mostly have, except for Bob Weir. Bob Weir, I think, the only original standing member of the Grateful Dead that's a part of Dead & Co., but John Mayer also a part of Dead & Co., along with some incredible musicians. I don't know their backgrounds. I don't know where they came from. Well, they're playing the Sphere. You know about the Sphere?
Mm-hmm.
It's a spherical concert venue. All right. It's home to a Darren Aronofsky film that plays during the day. And now I'm going to go on a tangent about how fucking cool the Sphere is. And I'm going to first quote Nick Carp, who looked at me a few minutes into this set and said, I don't know, there's some good stuff about capitalism. And I fully agreed at that point. Here's the deal. We looked for tickets because he only had 2 to the Sphere because it's a hoity-toity thing. And we were going to get my friend Zach one. $1,000 minimum to step in that building.
Ooh,
this is like an hour before the show.
boy.
So the tickets we got, we go through the side friends and family door, which like this building, I'm sure they're going to build more around it. There's nothing around it. It's just, here's the strip. And then just over here, like in kind of a desert parking lot is the Sphere. And it is so packed with hippies. This building holds 17,000 people. And when you're in it, it's so expansively open that you can't tell whether it's like 100 people or 17,000 people in the building. We were escorted right in. Now, first off, I want to say to the Sphere staff, go fuck yourself. You're all very dumb. None of you really know what your job is. I understand it's a new venue, and I would be nicer about it if one of the Lakers defensive coaches was in front of us in line. And the guy was like, couldn't believe this guy was in the friends and families line, right? And we didn't know at this point he's a Lakers defensive coach. All we know is the guy's like, are you really supposed to be in the friends and family line? And like, I don't know if you know this, there weren't a lot of black people at the Grateful Dead concert. We'll get into more of that later. This was a black man, and of course he was supposed to be there. He's the defensive coach of the Lakers, who is really good friends with John Mayer, who always brings the whole Grateful Dead cool sets of custom Nikes when he comes. And they were like, you don't know where you're supposed to be. Immediately he goes inside, and every staff member with the Dead is like, oh, hey man, it's so good to see you. Like, great to see you. And I was like, y'all need to go. It wasn't my story to tell, but also like, we see you, the Sphere, and this is not how you treat people who are in line. Even if you have questions yourself, guess what? You hold them to yourself until they get inside, and then you step in if you need to, but that's not your place. This isn't your place. Also, y'all should have asked me, because girl, I don't know nobody here. Who the fuck am I here to see? What do you... Doesn't matter. You know how much it costs per minute to run the Sphere? $1,000 per minute to run the Sphere and keep it on. It's always on.
Oh my God.
In Las Vegas, when you take off at night, it's on. When you land in the morning, it's on. It's always on. The Sphere is always on. We get inside the Sphere, and we are escorted down to the VIP stage platform on the floor. And the way the Sphere is set up at first looks like it's under construction. It looks like you're in a giant warehouse where the Sphere is being built around you. And then when the band gets on stage, they play like a song, and then the whole building just starts opening. And it takes you from San Francisco, from the original Jerry Garcia house, into space, into a portal vortex, and then just like through a trip door. And the floor has rumble capability. The building has wind built into it when you're moving around. The screen is so clear, it feels like you're moving through the front of a spaceship. Like, it felt like daytime in the building, the amount of light that gets in. You can't even fathom that it's screens anymore. Like, I couldn't believe this place existed in the same time that I live. I couldn't even put it together. And here's the craziest part. They've done this before. I was here in February, and they were doing a run. I saw a bunch of people at the airport. They've been doing these as their sort of holdover, like, festival. What do they call it? Like a
residency.
Residency.
Yeah.
And I said, well, are they doing the same show they did at the last one? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, like, visually, like, is it the same visuals, or are they updated for now? He goes, oh, no. The visuals are updated every single night. They have a whole programming team upstairs programming this Sphere to where there are parts of the show that are still the same, but then as it goes through, they can move cameras into stuff, they can change everything, they can add new images, they can have the bears running over the mountains, and like, can I say something? I finally get the Grateful Dead. All right. And for as badly as the black man that we saw was treated, I do think that for the most part, it's one of the only pure forms of white culture ever created. And I say this, I think there's now actually 2 black people playing in the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Because like, when you find good studio musicians, it's not old white guys most of the time. They're usually like end up becoming engineers because they can't function well with others. But I'm looking around the building and I'm like, everyone here is just kind of like who I expect to vote against me, but it seems like we're on the same page about something. Also, it looks very expensive to be a hippie nowadays. Like, I'm looking around me, and one moment I was like, oh, she has such a beautiful hippie outfit on, like just kind of middle-aged white woman doing her thing. Very pretty though. And then I started noticing everything she was wearing that was hippie-esque was like super high-end designer, like Hermes body drape suit. And like you're sort of like, when these tickets for regular tickets are this much, and she's here on the VIP platform with us and wearing this, like, it does seem a little expensive to be a hippie. Also, their t-shirts were up to $50. So I don't want to hear it from anyone, because I think like I'm not making much on t-shirts right now. Let me be clear with everyone. The margins are not there. So you know what? If they're going to do cool shirts and charge $50, good for them. I'm not going to charge that much, but I'm going, it does seem like fabric's getting a little more expensive. We then got to take the tour. So they do 2 separate sets in a night. And so in the in-between, we took the 11-minute walk up to the top of and this is on escalators. It's just such a large building. And because it's a Sphere, it domes outwards as you get up closer to the top. So it takes longer to get up. And it took us 11 minutes to get to the top, to the 7th floor, and watch the second set from the top looking down. and the sheer staggering drop of fans like doesn't even make, you can't tell how far you're seeing because it just looks like an optical illusion when you're looking down from there. And with how far the ceiling comes, I don't know. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. It felt unreal. And we were all trying to figure out like what would be other artists who would even have the capability to sort of put on shows there. Now you saw FKA Twigs did a show there. But who, like, in your opinion, who would you like to see do the Sphere?
I bet it's kind of in the same vein as Grateful Dead, but Flaming Lips could probably do something pretty fucking incredible in there.
Flaming Lips could probably do an incredible one. I was thinking Gorillaz would really eat up because especially if you're shadowing the band down, because the stage was so small compared to this venue. The stage is, I mean, and I'll show you pictures and stuff, or we can look online, but the screen effect that you have that you can build out from, like, I think Gaga could definitely do it. Oh, no problem. Yeah. They said Katy Perry tried to do it. Didn't go well. So she went to space instead, which is a different kind of sphere.
Different kind of sphere.
Yeah. I think...
you're going to be mad at my real answer.
What's your real answer?
Radiohead.
Yeah, who cares? What's he going to do? Whine about the karma police?
1 second.
Oh, hi, baby. Is this a kitty cat? Hi, Fred. Stop. Yeah, we got visited by an orange kitty. Oh, yeah, he's been hanging out. Yeah. That's my guy. He's not up to hanging out yet, but I think if we left him some food out.
I just saw like a large animal shape go by.
Yeah. That's your first time seeing the cat?
Yeah.
I've seen him twice.
Okay.
He never lets me get close enough, though. He looks at me a second. Wow. It's not like he's scared, but he looks at me and he gets away. I think if we leave a little tray out, we can get the kitty close. Mm-hmm. My grandma always used to keep stray cats. She would just put out tuna every day until the cats would stick around and come inside.
We're not replacing you, Lucy.
We're not replacing you. It's a cuddle buddy. Someone for you to give a kiss. It's a kiss, kiss, baby, baby pat. All right. Well, now I did get the call. I thought the clusterfuck was at midnight. It was not. It was at 11. So I rushed back over from the Grateful Dead set. I didn't wrestle that night till 2:30. So I don't know why I rushed back over. It did seem a little like, but I do want to say there's nothing funnier. And I've seen it happen multiple times now. And I've been a part of a little bit of the, like, what's going on. Watching a clusterfuck when they still haven't finished booking it and everyone's up in a room and has no idea what's going on is the funniest thing possible. Where they're like, the match is starting soon. What are we doing? The match is starting. And I just go, I don't know. Just go with it. Go with what your heart tells you. And then once you figure out what you're doing, you're just waiting around all fucking night. You're just waiting around so much. I don't know if you heard, but I was once again thrown out by the Invisible Man. We have a history together, and I've been kissed and thrown out twice by the Invisible Man. Really disgusting behavior, given our past relationship, our past transgressions. So, hopefully one day we can make up, be a tag team, be together again. But it does seem like the love is lost between me and the Invisible Man, who murdered Invisible Stan. From what I hear, from what the story seems to be. Sunday, we were going to go to WrestleCon. We did not. We slept in too long. And then I saw everyone that was at WrestleCon. I just want to say next year WrestleCon, don't put all the famous people right up front where they can get the picture and then just leave. Because if you have to have them walk to the back, they at least have to see who else is there. But it did seem like a bit of a rush job in and out. We originally were supposed to have a secret guest, and this is no shade, and congratulations. Ginger Minch today was just announced as a participant in RuPaul's All-Stars 10. 18 queens are competing, including 2 from Atlanta, Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, and Phoenix, who performs very often up at 10, right off 10th Street. An Atlanta queen through and through. I've seen her perform multiple times there. Wonderful queen. But Ginger Minge, which Ginger Minge, it's hard to say. She has to know that this is hard to say. Can you say it?
Ginger Minge.
Ginger Minge. Ginger Minge. Ginger Minge was Ginger Minge was originally supposed to make a run-in during Effy's Big Gay Brunch to help Pero win. And unfortunately, because of the violence associated with wrestling, there were some questions from the management, not from Ginger herself. And so we just decided, look, let's not push the buttons. You're about to be on All Stars. And she said, do y'all want to come to the show? And I said, yes. Now, you haven't seen the video yet, have you?
I think you showed me something.
Of Steve.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, here's the deal. So we got 5 tickets, VIP with meet and greet, to go to the show, the RuPaul's Drag Race live show at the Flamingo, which I highly recommend. I would have paid full price for it. It was incredible. We had such a fun cast. They have kind of a rotating cast. We had Kahana Montrese from All Stars. We had Ginger Minge. I got to think of who else. We had Kylie Sonique Love, who won her season of All Stars. We had Morphine Love Dion, and we had Plain Jane. You may remember Plain Jane from Causing a Ruckus and saying my favorite quote about a girl sharing her story about her battle with HIV and AIDS, saying, "Mama, thank you for spilling." Mama, thank you for spilling the tea. We needed that. It's a hell of a quote. Either way, she did the meet and greet in a Tweedledee bodysuit, and I thought that was incredible. So they do this full stage show. RuPaul's involved for the video screens. Ginger Minge is hosting, and we were now going to be VIP. But we found ourselves in a situation where some of our friends, we didn't have enough tickets because Pero has 31 husbands. And so they took up a lot of this different pluses. So Adam Abdullah, once again, who took me out for steak dinner, said, well, we got a box. We got a VIP box. Bring whoever you want. So Alec Price, huge fan of Drag Race, watches with his mom. He'll tell you that himself. Allie Catch, my good sister, and the one called Manders go to the Drag Race show. And Ginger Minge spends her time having a wonderful conversation with the one called Manders, who then immediately points out that I would be the one to help him hide a body. I don't think you should say that part out loud, even if it's true. I think you should lie and say it's someone else. But clearly, me and Zach got matching, and he had to fly home at this point, matching tracksuits. And so I just look like I've done some killing in my life. And I honor that, but it was such a fun show, and to get to end with a show that's I don't have to perform on. I just get to look and watch the girls do their thing. It was so much fun, so much energy. The crowd was so into it. Some Drag Race freaking super fans, but watching Steve Steve's never been to a drag show. He's never taken this in, and just the absolute look of joy on his face as this was going on was phenomenal. He was like, damn, that was a hell of a show. We ended up going back and hanging out and watching, we watched WrestleMania earlier that night before we left, watched John Cena, but just watching TV and chilling and relaxing because we were leaving the next morning. It was a harrowing trip to Vegas. I'm asking everyone's patience getting through everything now. I'm trying to get through all the payments and stuff. It takes a while, and we have to secure with Live Nation. It's a long process, and nobody wants to hear that. And we've done our best, but I will say I at least got to spend some time in Vegas doing Vegas things, and I think that makes a difference. And also to all the people who brought me gifts and paid for my stuff, thank you. I needed it very much, including Pero and his 58 husbands. I don't know. I kept meeting new ones, and maybe they were the same ones in different outfits or something, but there was a lot of husbands, Pero. I couldn't keep up with that many husbands, I think Joseph Smith had to make up a whole different part of the Bible to have that many wives, and you just dressed those boys up like puppies and said, we don't need anything but our love. That's the American spirit, to say, yeah, I'm going to have 5 husbands, and what are you going to do about it? I think that's beautiful. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
How many husbands should I have?
As many as you want.
I don't want any. Think of that. I have to remember that many anniversaries. How many anniversaries is that?
Oh, God.
How many anniversaries?
Too many.
Way too many. I will say it was a wonderful time with those boys. I'm giving them a little shit for being thousands of them, thousands of husbands. But they're very kind, sweet boys. And I had a wonderful time with them. Vegas, you're a fucking mess. You've never changed and you never will. And, you know, as they say, the house always wins. And I knew the house would win, but we got out of it better than we could. You know, and as much fun as this sounds, Peter, I think you still made the right choice. I think we wait until New Orleans to really light your fire. I think we'll have better venue choice in New Orleans as well. And I don't know. I know that Good Friends shut down, so we'll have to see what other gay haunts are still going on Bourbon Street. But, you know, never know. We'll never know. It's a mystery. What do you think about that, Peter?
I love it.
I probably got many more stories to tell along the way, but there's only so much you can give away to the people for what they have. I hope you sign up for the Patreon to hear more, weekendateffys.com. I'm working on my vlog right now from this trip and a few previous trips, so that should be up very soon. And we have a lot of other updates coming along the way on the Weekend at Effy's Patreon at weekendateffys.com. How about that? You have anything to add, Peter?
No.
Well, if you're going to go to Las Vegas, just remember this. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, it's just everything is so expensive. I just can't stop spending money. Do you know how many times I had to say, well, like, it's only $35?
Right.
Like 100 times. It's horrible. Just like you can't. Scared money don't make money, but I didn't make much. So here we are. Oh, Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Effy. Viva Gay Brunch. Viva the Sphere. Viva Bob Weir.
Viva the Grateful Dead.
Viva the Grateful fucking Dead. I love it. Oh, Scarlet Begonias, baby. I think we should do a little acid. Oh, it was a peaceful, easy feeling in there. Tell you that. I'll tell you that. I'm trying to tell you about the Sphere. Oh, man. It's wild. It's like a circle.